What's up, guys? This is TwoTenEast, and I'm back with the final video in my series for the show Modern Love. In this video, I will be briefly going over the last 3 episodes of the show, 6, 7, and 8, and then giving my final thoughts on the show as a whole. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so right off the bat, I gotta say that despite my lukewarm feelings for the first 5 episodes, I was really glad I finished this show and watched the last 3 because I really enjoyed one of them and the other ones were okay, I guess, sort of the same as the first ones actually. So let's go over each one of them in order. Okay, episode 6. So he looked like dad. It was just dinner, right? Yeah, I'm sorry guys, but this one was another to me. The story and premise was really cliche. Girl with daddy issues. Okay, great, got it. The voiceover dialogue, which of course, just like in previous episodes, comes from the essay it was based on, was so bad. Again, I'm sorry, but it just really sounded like the worst possible pretentious teen fiction. I cringed so hard. But with all that being said, holy shit, Julia Garner was so fucking amazing in this episode. I've been a fan of hers ever since I saw her in the Netflix series Maniac, which, by the way, is criminally misunderstood and underrated. Go check it out, guys. Jonah Hill, Emma Stone, Cary Fukunaga. Seriously. So most of you probably know her. She's been in Ozark, The Americans, I forget what else. She's just a really good actress in my opinion, and even though the character she portrayed in this episode was pretty lame, Garner was so good and gave such an authentic and real performance that she was still able to bring her character to life and make me believe in her character and evoke empathy for her character. And okay, I'll shut up, but you get the point. She is talented. She carried that whole episode on her back, despite the rest of it being, in my opinion, really nothing special. So yeah, to summarize, Julia Garner equals awesome. Everything else about the episode, not so much. And that's all I got. All right, episode 7. Hers was a world of one. I'm just gonna say this up front. This was my favorite episode. The whole story, the acting, the writing, the pacing, it was just all good. But wait, you might ask, why was this one different than the other ones? What made this stand out? Well, let me try to explain. First of all, the acting. The 2 actors that played the young couple were just brilliant. Brandon Kyle Goodman and Andrew Scott. They were so believable as the couple of Andy and Tobin. Their line delivery, their emotional range, and their acting in general was superb. And this also, I guess, has to do with the writing of the characters themselves, because all of the other actors in the other episodes are capable of what these guys did. I just think the characters were better written. I really believe their relationship was real. Their bickering, but also the way they worked out their issues and stuck together. And then you add in Olivia Cooke as the young, free-spirited mother, Carla, and it just makes for this great dynamic between these main characters. So, the acting. That's one reason. But to expand on that, it's also just the way the story is structured and the character development within that structure. In this episode, I really felt like a story was being told, and that I was getting to know these characters. These episodes are all really short, but for me, this was the only one where I really felt that I got to know the characters and came to care about them. The 3 main characters had principles and philosophies on life that they lived by, and they were challenged and highlighted by other characters opposing principles and philosophies, which is, how it's supposed to be done. It built these characters up so that when the climactic scene came, the birth of Carla's baby, I actually really cared for all of these characters. I felt like they had gone through things together and grown as a result, and that I had been there to witness all of it. You can compare this episode to the first one with Maggie. The scene of her birth just didn't mean as much to me because I really didn't care about her character that much. She didn't have much to reflect off of. The only meaningful relationship she was shown to have was Guzmine, and if you've seen my video on that episode, you know I really wasn't a big fan. Their relationship wasn't as intimate or didn't have as high stakes within it like the one Andy and Tobin had with Carla. It's similar in other episodes where the story is pretty much about one character either coming to grips with something about themselves or falling in love with someone else and just sort of talking with them the whole episode. In this one, it's not like it doesn't do the same thing necessarily, but more so that it feels more fleshed out and it's just done better. Then there's all the metaphors and ironies written into the story that are just great too, like the whole Carla staying in their house disrupting their routine being a big problem for Tobin, when ironically this is what having a baby will be like as well, and how Andy and Tobin start slipping subconsciously into these parental roles while Carla is staying in their apartment. There's just pretty much nothing to complain about. Oh, wait, sorry. There is one problem I do have with this episode, and that's Ed Sheeran. Oh my god, he cannot act. I'm sorry, I know lots of people love him, and I respect his music and his talent as a musician and a singer, but holy shit, please, Ed, if you ever hear this acting thing is not for you, man. Just stop, please. But aside from that, this was pretty near the perfect episode in this series for me. Okay, real quick, episode 8. Yeah, I don't have much to say for this one either. It was fine. I like that this episode featured an older kind of love at a later stage in life, which is very important to show because this atmosphere of mortality added into the romance was really interesting and well executed. The dynamic is just a little more interesting than the cliche young millennials in New York, and it gave everything more emotional and existential weight. That being said, I wasn't really blown away either, but it was cool. Acting was good as always, and yeah, mostly what I want to say about this episode involves the ending, so I'll just go on to that. I really enjoyed how this episode wrapped up the show, showing all of the different stories occurring in the same space and at the same time. It was this choice of tying all of these narratives together, showing how they crossed over, the characters all completely unaware of each other, that really managed to elevate my opinion of this show as a whole. I really liked how not only did we get to see these stories all happening at once, but that they were all at different points in their respective plot arcs. During that moment when Margot runs down the street, some romances, relationships, stories were just beginning. Others were seeing resolution, and some of them were right in the middle. It was also nice to see some never-before-seen moments from the other episodes, and the sense of unity and overall feeling I got from the ending was really cool. It took us from this very close look at all of these people and their lives, and zoomed out into a larger overall world of many different stories, all occurring at once, which is both like New York City itself, and of course, our world in general. So, now that I have finished all of Modern Love, here are my final thoughts on the series. For me, Modern Love was alright. The ending and the way it all got wrapped up really saved it for me, and I would recommend it to anyone looking for a quick emotional dip into, well, Modern Love. Is it cliche, cringy, and just kind of bland at some points? I mean, for me, yeah. Do I still think a lot of these big name actors were criminally underused? Definitely. But it's still cool to see them do their thing, and they all do what they can with what they're given. When I first started this show, it was kind of like an above ground pool. But now that I've finished it all, it's more like an in-ground pool. Not the ocean, but hey, you can still go swimming all the same. One last thing I'll just add is that if you are a fan of this show, there is a pretty cool article that actually talks about the real stories behind each of the episodes and the difference between the show and the essay, and also the difference between how the show resolved each story and how it actually turned out in real life. A sort of where are they now kind of thing. For those of you who are interested, I will put the link to that article in the description of this video. Alright, that's gonna do it for my series of reviews for Modern Love. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to let me know in the comments if you'd like to recommend another show for me to do this episode by episode thing for. Preferably something short, like not a lot of episodes and short episode length. It can be something you think I'd like or something you'd like to see me tear apart. Whatever floats your boat. And with that being said, this is TwoTenEast. Have a great day. I'm out.